Yes, sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Medicom Mafex Justice League movie Batman figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey I'm fucking with. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
And a quick look at the artwork on the left side of the box. You can see it says Justice League. There's a picture of all of the members' logos. It says Batman action figure Maifix, and there's a picture of Batman. And on the opposite side, more logos and a vertical picture of the figure here. And number 56 here from Maifix there at the bottom. Alright, so we have the Mafex Justice League Batman out of the package. This is Mafex's first offering from the Justice League movie. They are slated to put out the entire team from the movie, but Batman is up first. And I'm not going to hold you up. I'm going to tell you that I do like this figure. It came out pretty good. The new figure smell is pretty potent coming off this guy out of the package. I think it's mostly his cape. And I'm also going to say right off the bat that this figure is absolutely better than the SH Figuarts version. Alright, so I'll say that, but I do have some issues, and we're going to go over everything, obviously. Let's look at his accessories. So straight out of the package, he comes with a set of fisted hands. He has quite a few hands. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. And he comes with a set of semi-open grabby hands, and it should be noted that I was able to push these all the way down on the peg. In the past, that has been an issue with some Mafex figures, that there was some gappage between the hand and the wrist or the forearm, so that's cool. And there's a set open with the fingers slightly spread, and a set with the fingers tucked and the thumbs kind of separate from the fingers. I suppose these can be used for holding the batarang, so let me break those out real quick. Yeah, there's that, and so he can hold these in a variety of different ways, and you actually get 3 of these, and these look pretty good. There you go. So you can see one little line across there. The color looks good. It's a nice silver. The paint job on here looks pretty good, so not bad. And then he has another semi-open set. I guess these can be used to kind of hold some different things. Maybe it'll be, you can use them to kind of support the grappling gun or the other gun that he comes with. So, and truthfully, these are actually probably best for supporting the grappling gun or the other gun. So another set of semi-open hands here. And then finally, he comes with a set of trigger fingers, because as we all know, this Batman in this universe is with the shits. He is down with the 187. So let's check out the other guns that he comes with. And there's a look at the grappling gun, which is pretty nicely detailed. You can see the handle looks like it's wooden, and it was a really snug fit in the hand, actually. So you need to be careful that you don't bend the handle when you're trying to get it into his hand, but you can definitely get him pointing it up and looking up. You know, we'll get into the articulation better in a moment, but yeah, he can hold that with no issue. And there he is with his other weapon, and correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe this was the EMP weapon or smoke canister or something. I don't know. I don't know if this was actually a ballistic weapon. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I don't remember, but like I did say, he was definitely shooting shit up in in Batman versus Superman, and you can definitely get him aiming a gun properly. The articulation does lend to that, and it does look good when he has the gun in hand. So yeah, if you want to put a Uzi or something in his hand, you definitely could, and I like that a lot. And then his final accessory is what looks like a little smoke canister, and this is that first sort of holding hand that I said would be good to support the guns, but I think it's probably best to hold something like this, or you know, it's not the most snug fit, but it does, you can actually position it in the right way where it stays. And of course I can't do it now that I'm saying it, but you get the picture. And you know what, I lied, there's actually one more accessory, obviously his interchangeable head. So looking at the head that comes attached out of the package, I like the shape of it, I like the design, I think it looks pretty good. The sculpt is good, but I don't know if the lower jaw really looks like Ben Affleck. And I see what they tried to do with like a little 5 o'clock shadow, I suppose, here, but it just kind of looks like dirt. It doesn't really look that great. But I do like the shape, like I said, of the head. The sculpt looks good. And there's a quick look at the peg. I suppose I'll be able to swap on a unmasked head that I have and a couple of other things. We'll see what happens, but let's look at the interchangeable head. And I think this one's a little soft as well. I guess this is supposed to be his angry face or his snarl or what have you. I'll say this one probably looks a bit more like Ben Affleck, But there's a little minor paint imperfection here on the chin. I don't know if I'll just be able to scrape that off. Yeah, it looks like it's coming off, so that's fine. And again, with what is supposed to be a little stubble, it really just looks like dirt. It doesn't look that good. I would have liked to see this face much more angrier, like, you know, to really show that it's an intense moment or that he's angry or whatever the case may be. It looks like the eyes are looking to my right a little bit. And taking a closer look at the deco and the sculpt, it's very similar to the sculpt on the Batman versus Superman version, but I think this is a little better as far as the way it looks. It looks very streamlined in my opinion. It looks very good. I think they did a really nice job on the sculpt here, but they did borrow some things, I think, from the original version, especially as far as the articulation goes and how he moves. So one of my major issues, I'm not even sure if it's an issue or how I feel, you can see that the cloak here, the cape, is sort of like a kind of faux leather, but there is no bendy wire in here. And I dropped this hand off, one sec. But there is no bendy wire here in the cape at all, and I don't know why they didn't think about including some bendy wire so you could really get this cape posed up and manipulated and have it look like it's blowing in the wind and all of that good stuff. So I don't really know how I feel about this material either. I do like the fact that you can position the cape in a couple of different ways, because this is a separate piece here, the cowl, or what should be part of the cowl, because I guess in actuality, when he's supposed to take this off, this whole entire piece is supposed to come off at once. It does not, though. Only the head pops off. I guess you probably could really get this off if you wanted to, but this is what's holding down the cape, and you can position it where you can kind of drape it in front of him and drape it around him, or put it back behind him. But the lack of bendy wire in here really just kind of killed this for me. And again, I'm just not sure how I feel about this. This could easily get heat damaged or get messed up and start chipping away. So I don't know. I feel like I'll see a lot of people doing their own thing with the cape, just like with damn near any character that comes with a cape. You see people always customizing and doing different things. So, but I do like the look of this costume. You know, it's sort of like a charcoal gray and black and some gold highlights. And the actual look of the figure is very nice. He looks good. I don't like that they wrote that on the back of there, but he does look very good. And in terms of articulation, like I said, it's very similar to that of the Batman versus Superman version. The head and neck can actually move independently of each other, so you do get a pretty good range. He can look down pretty far. You can really push it to the limit, and he can look up pretty far too, which is absolutely important for a Batman figure. I'll pop that off, but you do get just a little bit of gappage when you push it to the limit, but you definitely can get him to look up, and so that is absolutely important. Shoulders are on a ball joint. They're going to come up just about that far. You can actually do a full 360. The shoulder actually does kind of rotate on the joint there, so you sort of get like a butterfly joint, but then you also get upper bicep swivel. You get a double jointed elbow swivel and a hinge on the wrist. You get upper torso articulation. As you can see, that can move back pretty far, forward pretty far. You can turn them at the waist, and at the pelvis here, it's sort of the same similar joint that you have at the shoulder, so you can rotate at two places there, and you can pull it out and get the leg up pretty far. Split will look like that. You do get a double jointed knee. No rotation at the upper boot. You do get a hinge and a nice pivot on the foot, but you do get a very nice range of motion on this guy. That was one thing that I really liked about the Batman versus Superman version, was that you can definitely get him into some great poses, and this guy is no different. You can definitely pose him up and get him into whatever dynamic poses you want. But the cape, man. Just to give you a look at the inner workings there, I'm sure you can pop the legs off at these joints here if you wanted to, but again, it does allow for a nice range at the pelvis area. Alright, a few size comparisons. On the far left, we have the SH Figuarts Justice League Batman, which was a huge disappointment. Obviously, he looks very short and stumpy, and a lot of people were trying to extend the peg and the torso and the upper torso and make him look taller and make him look a lot better. Even I tried to do it, but I gave up because I ended up getting the wrong peg. I talked about that in a couple of videos. So like I said early on in this video, there's no question that this new Mafex version is better than the SH Figuarts version. You can see the sculpt is superior, the height is superior. But I will say that the SH Figuarts version does have a better cape, in my opinion. The way it sits is good, and it has some bendy wire in there, whereas we didn't get any of that on this new Mafex version. And then on the far right, we have the Batman vs. Superman Mafex version, which you can see is a little taller than this newer one, but I do feel like the sculpt on the new Justice League version is superior. You can see in the upper torso and the midsection, it just looks a little funny. Again, this looks way more streamlined and just, it looks more authentic to how a really muscular human being would look. And this guy on the right looks a little weird. And I will say that I like the head sculpt on the newer version a little better. I definitely do like it better. I didn't particularly care for the material for the cape on the Batman vs. Superman Mafex version, but they did put quite a bit of bendy wire in there, and again, that's where they dropped the ball on this new one. And up next, we have the Mafex Armored Batman from the Batman vs. Superman movie on the far left. I thought that figure was a little on a small side. He probably should have been a little bigger. And on the far right, we have the Batman vs. Superman figure, which I thought was pretty awful. This head sculpt here was the alternate one that they didn't even paint correctly. My girl actually painted the eyes on this one and actually rewired the cape so it could work a little better, put more bendy wire in it, but we actually needed some stronger bendy wire, but I thought this figure was awful. And then here we have the SH Figuarts Justice League Wonder Woman, which I think came out pretty damn nice. I think the size between Wonder Woman and Batman here is pretty cool. I'm not really feeling the way the face looks on the upcoming Mafex version of this figure, so I don't know. Maybe I'll hold on to Wonder Woman. I think Batman from the SHF line is going to be on his way out of here. He might be going to eBay. And then on the far right, we have the Mafex Nightmare Batman. And everybody knows that Mezco pretty much knocked that one out of the park, this version. But, you know, this guy's still pretty good. I talked about it when I reviewed the Mezco Nightmare Batman. But that's how the three of those stack up. And then there's the additional head that came with the Nightmare Batman here. And that looks kind of goofy. And it's not really sitting properly because when I popped off the peg here, the entire neck part came out. So it looks like, yeah, it looks like two pegs. I should be able to actually remove this peg here on the bottom and put it back and attach the head properly, but I'm just not going to do that right now. But you can, I guess you could kind of finesse this if you wanted to. You can also see how that's attached now that I have that off. So one of you guys that's a good seamstress could probably figure out something for a new cape for sure. And then here's another option. This is that head that came with that Batcave playset. I think it was like a Mattel playset or something like that. But if this were to get painted up to make it look a little more realistic, then this could actually work too. Looks like he's losing a little bit of the neck. You might have to get it to set up a little farther on the neck, but not bad. And then we have the Mezco Dark Knight Batman on the left. And on the right, we have the Maifix Suicide Squad Deadshot. And I don't know what Maifix was doing here. To this day, I still can't understand what was going on with the scaling with this guy. He is just bigger than every other Maifix figure that they've put out. I don't know what happened here. And then they've gone back to, which I would assume is like their 6-inch scale stuff. The Deadshot looks like he's 7-inch scale. Nothing else at Maifix is scaled properly with this guy, and it's a really nice figure, but it just doesn't scale with anything. So a pretty solid offering here from Maifix. I do like this figure a lot. Like I said, I absolutely think this one is trumping the SH Figuarts version. We'll see how Maifix fares with the rest of the figures from the Justice League movie. I think the next one that should be coming out is Wonder Woman and then Superman, if I'm not mistaken, but they spread out over quite a bit of time. Aside from my issues with the cape, this guy is very nice, and it is one that I would recommend. They really did drop the ball, though, on this cape. They should have absolutely included some bendy wire in here. So, like I said, I'm sure there'll be quite a few people doing their own custom thing as far as the cape goes. I do like that they tried to step a little bit outside of out of the box and give a different material for the cape. But I mean, for the money that they spent for that, they could have just put the bendy wire in there, to be honest. A little soft on the head sculpts, or as far as the lower jaw is concerned, but the head sculpts are actually good. And this is the RC, the Mattel RC Batmobile in the back here, and he can actually fit inside there, so that's cool. If you have this massive vehicle, then you can get him inside there, and it looks great as a backdrop for him here right now. So yeah, definitely one I would recommend. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, peace.
That's crispy.